Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scenes with your teen. It looks like we're starting to have the signs of spring in a lot of different places. We actually have one of our staffers joining us from an outdoor location with bird sounds. When it's Melissa's turn, you'll get to hear them. They sound delightful. And I'm just excited. It's Passover's coming, Easter's coming, and I think there's other holidays too. There's for some reason there's like everybody in the world has a holiday coming up this week. So if you're joining us, welcome. And if you're getting ready for a holiday, we hope you have a wonderful one. Today we're talking about something that came up in one of our parent commenters in our Facebook group was saying how she was feeling kind of lonely because all of a sudden her kid has his driver's license. I think it's a he, whatever, substitute your child here. Your kid gets their driver's license, and all of a sudden you're persona non grata. They're out with the car, they're seeing their friends, they're at sports practice, they're going to games. They have this big life that's beyond you. And one half of you was like, yay! And the other half of you was like, no, because you're sad and feeling lonely. And Gina, thank you for joining us. Gina says that was me. Okay. And it could be any of us. And it has been many of us here. A lot of us have that feeling. Okay, yes, we're doing our job right when that happens, right? Your job is to get left behind. It's a terrible job. Why did we ever sign up for this? I want my money back. And yet, okay, so yes, yay for us. If our kids are moving on, we feel great because they're having a life. But we're all of a sudden feeling kind of lonely and maybe not as important. We know we're important, but we feel that we are not as important. So I'm going to tell you, I have two pieces of news, good and bad, and you can decide which is which. The good news, well, I will say one piece of news is yes, they do leave us eventually, and they go off and do great things, most of them, we hope. The other piece of news is they come back like a lot, especially when they're first starting to launch. It's not a linear process. So they might leave for a while and then they're back for a while. And then they leave for a while and they're back for a while. And that brings its own challenges because just when you're getting ready or getting comfortable with the idea that they don't need you as much, they're back and they need you more than ever. And they might need you in different ways. So don't be fooled by this feeling of a sudden quietness in your home. It's not necessarily going to be that way all the time. And I think we have other people on this call who can really relate to this and have been there and done that. I'm going to actually send this down to Eka because I know she's launched two girls into the world and she has probably some thoughts and feelings on this. Eka, would you like to take it away?
Sure, Jen. When you said that about leaving, coming back, leaving, come back, that did remind me of a story which I will get to later. But one of the things I want to talk about is when in high school, when they got their license and they started doing more stuff, and I had this time on my hands, one of the things that I was kind of happy about was that I no longer had to plan family meals, which was a huge thing because now, like if they were going to be out, as Mindy knows, Thursday night was pasta night for the swimmers. So I knew I didn't have to feed one on Thursday nights. And that was a huge thing for me because I'm not big into the whole food thing. So then I was able to either go out to dinner with my husband because we tried not to do that during school nights, or I would just do something that wasn't as nutritious as I usually planned for a family meal. That was one thing that I loved. The other thing that the positives of it was that I started doing things that I had put off doing for myself, like me time. But no, just like reading more, taking time maybe to meet with friends for afternoon walks, or just taking the time to make a phone call in the afternoons to some friends, because that's back when, I used to talk on the phone. Now I just text. So those were things I did, but it was kind of hard. But, here's the crazy thing is, and maybe those of you who have kids who graduated from college, is that they go away to college and it's sad, but then you're okay. But I actually had the worst thing after they graduated from college because, we went out for graduation and we helped move to a new place and she was doing this and she had this job and, it was all fabulous. And we came home And I totally fell apart. And I thought, she's never coming home. You know, I mean, that was the thing, is it wasn't so much as going to college, because when they went to college, they came home, like you said, Jen, they come and they go. But it was actually when they got a job, and they really weren't living at home anymore. They weren't coming home for spring break and Christmas break and the summers. And that one was a hard one for me. So comes and goes, ebbs and flows. So I'm going to send it over to somebody else who maybe, Mindy has done it, and so has Sue, but I'll send it up to Mindy.
Thank you, Eka. Yes, I've done it, launched 3. And my advice is somewhat similar to Eka's, in find something you love. Find something that you're interested in and pursue it. A dear friend of mine told me, she launched before I did, her kids, and she said, volunteer. She said, find something you love. She loved gardening. She volunteered at the local greenhouse or something. And she said that soon turned into a paying job. So I think, as Eka said, do something for yourself, find something you love, and stay busy. Not in a bad way busy, but do something for you. And I can give a great example. I raised 3 boys, all athletes. 2 played lacrosse, and into my world came an opportunity that friends of mine were coaching girls lacrosse in high school. Now, I'd never seen a girls lacrosse game, but I had seen boys. And I just offered to them, hey, if you need some help, listen, I'll carry the water for your team. I'll help line the field. I can do that. Well, fast forward 4 years, and I'm one of the coaches, and absolutely loving it. It forced me to learn something new. Here I am, the old lady, riding the school bus in the afternoon to the games, preparing today for a wet game, but pouring rain, but it really, it just opened my world. And I so love it being a mom of boys. With the high school girls, I see prom dresses. I mean, I coach too, but I see prom dresses and hear about their lives. And, boys don't tell you those things. So that would be my advice, is find something you love, or even that you think you might love, something you're interested in, get involved. And the flip side is, my boys love hearing, my husband will text from the game, at the stew, girls down or girls up, and the comments I get for them that their mom is doing something different. She's not sitting at home, that they know of, pining for them, although of course I do and can't wait to see them, but it's such a kick for them too. So I think it's really positive for the entire family. So that is my advice. And I will pass it to, who else is Kamira?
Good morning.
Wait, Kamira, let me just jump in for 1 second. If you have anything to add, put it in the comments. That makes us so happy. Gina's now our favorite, but if anyone wants to be in the competition for that, just put some comments in there about how you're feeling about maybe feeling lonely during COVID, maybe because your kids are getting older. Just share with us. We love it. Back to you. Come on.
Thank you. I do. Oh, we have a comment. Do you want to read it first?
I'm going to put it up there, but you can read it, Kamira.
Oh, but see, now you're going to make me put on glasses and everything. Oh, maybe I can do it. My son got his driver's license last week. I cried like a baby when he pulled away for the first time. On the plus side, I have found he's happier now that he has some independence, and I tend to nag him less because I want to enjoy my time with him now. That is a plus, Christina. And maybe, Christina, you may be like I am. And finally, my husband has come over to this side, is that I just get desperate. And whenever our sons invite us somewhere, I just jump up. I'm like sneakers in my hand, putting them on in the car. I'll go wherever you want me to go. My husband used to tease me until it happened this past weekend. One of our sons invited both of us. He was like, me too? Oh, okay, I'll go. We are empty nest loading, I call it, because our youngest is a senior in high school. And as you guys have already described, during college, he will be coming back. So we will have intermittent fasting. We have intermittent empty nesting. But what I've heard people say is, if you don't have a pet and you are a pet person, now's a good time to get one. If you really are longing to nurture something. my suggestion is that you start all those little personal projects, whether it's organizing photographs or painting a bathroom or something, but start small and do the personal ones that you really always wanted to do but couldn't do. And think about how you're going to either reinvent yourself or the parts of your old self, pre-child self you want back. And you don't have to go full throttle into something and then feel overwhelmed. Just take your time doing it. And they do come back, and sometimes they actually want to talk to you. One of our sons came in the house. Apparently I was working, and he came in through the back, went into his room, which is in the basement. He has his own house, but he still has his room in the basement, got whatever he wanted out of the room, came up the stairs, went past me. Apparently I was in the laptop and I didn't notice him, left the house and was all set to leave. And then he realized, maybe I want to talk to her. And he came back to the door, opened the door, and came in the house and had a conversation. And I didn't know it at first. My mother told me, because he had been talking to my mother. He said, yeah, he said he came into the house and you were so busy working. So they, they'll turn around and they'll actually want your company if you let them have their independence and don't burden them with the fact that you're a little lonely. It's a temporary gig. It's a temporary gig, and you've done it well. So now you get to move on to something else. I'm going to send it over to Melissa.
So,
Okay, Melissa,
Kamira,
before you start, so Gina got a dog in 2020. Jerry Friedson, one of our biggest fans, says, good morning, lovely ladies. Talking and laughing about family. How great is that? We agree, Jerry. We're always happy to see you here. And Dee, good morning to you. So back to Melissa.
so Kamara, it's really funny that you said, if you're thinking about getting a pet, now's the time to get one, because I don't know if you can see this, but do you see my pets?
Yes, we can see them. They're so cute.
Are those chickens?
They're chickens.
What chickens? We have goats? Because you have goats and I'm coming to visit.
Yeah. So, yeah, when we initially were thinking about a topic for this conversation, I thought, well, I have nothing to contribute. And then I realized every time someone important to me leaves my life, I get a dog, and then I get another dog, and then I get we have 11 chickens now. So, yeah, I guess I did not recognize how lonely I am because that was actually the reason that we got them in the first place. I was feeling down and depressed, and I just needed some connection, and especially with the pandemic, with not seeing my friends and everything. And they really got me through. They got me through. Both of my parents died years ago, but still, my pets got me through it. Just the grief and needing more connection with beings that were maybe not necessarily human. They're all digging in front of me. It's a little distracting, but yeah. Connect with your friends, connect with pets. If you don't have pets, I recommend getting a bird feeder. Even I have bird feeders at my front window. I watch them as I'm typing on my computer, and they'll come back day after day, season after season. I had a squirrel that would attach itself to my screen and basically beg for peanuts. So there are a lot of solutions out there, and you can always connect with other parents on our forum because we're here for you too. I'm gonna throw it over to Sharon. Yeah.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is great advice. I'm taking notes. My oldest is still in high school, but we just started that phase because my kid just got his driver's license too in the last couple of weeks. Now, he doesn't have a car, so he can't exactly just take off whenever he wants, which I guess is helpful. But I have to tell the story of what happened this morning. So today is supposed to be a rainy day, and it was really just starting to rain this morning. And I was already getting in the car to run errands. And my oldest said, can you drive me to school, which isn't very far. He usually walks. He said, it's just about to rain and it's going to rain hard. And I said, well, we have gotten you a nice raincoat and we have lots of umbrellas. He said, well, yeah, but, I'm still going to get all wet. And I said, when you go to college, you're going to be walking across campus and you're going to have to walk through the rain then. And I think at this point he knew I was going to give in. And he said, yeah, I know, but right now I have you. So, playing me like a fiddle, I don't know. I fell for it. I said, sure, I will drive you to school. I was already going out anyway. So I'm just taking this all as a reminder that when there are those little moments that, remembering that they're going to leave can help to savor the moments that we get, whether we still have them with us or they're coming back again. So I love that as a reminder today. Jessica, let me send it down to you.
Perfect. I was about to say that the bird feeder thing explains a lot about my father. He's a little bit after I moved out, he got this huge bird feeder, and now he's like obsessed with it. It's great. It's like they're two pileated woodpeckers that keep coming back, and we've named them both Priscilla. But that's off topic. So I have a little bit of a story. I am 27. I live not in my parents' house anymore. I moved out, I guess it's almost 2 years ago now. Maybe, something like that. I recently, my roommate got a Costco membership, and we got like a big pack of all of these like rolls, the Pillsbury rolls. And I was like, I'm gonna bake them myself. And I open them up, roll them all out, look at the instructions, and then I FaceTime my mom because I couldn't figure out the instructions for the Pillsbury. I just couldn't figure out what edge I was supposed to roll from. I call my mom, and I forgot that she was at the airport, and she answered anyway. Looked at me FaceTiming her with the big sheet of Pillsbury dough and explained to me how to roll it up. So, as I said, I'm 27, and I just, to all you parents out there, you're not getting rid of us. Doesn't matter if you're at the airport, doesn't matter what you're doing. I think we're gonna, all kids are probably gonna still be coming back at some point.
All right. So I want to, first of all, I think, of course, this group of women has unbelievable advice, and it's such great wisdom. And it's always unbelievably helpful to me to hear what everyone has to say. I want to flip it a little bit to talk about how bad we are at letting people be sad. And every single time my kids moved from one stage to the other, whether it was out of kindergarten to first grade, literally, I was crying. And people just were so uncomfortable. They were like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm sad they're moving on. And they were like, weird, really weird. That's weird. And the truth is, for some people, it was entirely weird and they didn't have that emotion. But if you take kindergarten to first grade and you just continue life, I've had that same reaction every step of the way. And what I'm aware of about myself and about our society is that that is a really uncomfortable place for people. So some of the solutions that we gave are after the grief or dealing with the grief, but the grief is there. Like, we have losses in our life, and some of them aren't, thank God, permanent or tragic, but they're just kind of, it's a loss to say goodbye to your kid. It was a loss to give keys to my kid. It really was, because there was such significant time in the car that we covered topics that were never covered anywhere else. Or I got to eavesdrop on kids in the car, and that was completely gone. So all of these things, they're like little kind of chipping away at relationships. And so I think if you're sad, if you're lonely, sitting with it isn't always awful. And then figuring out how to move forward from that, also great. The other thing I want to say is COVID has made all of us lonely on some level. And I think it's been, in some ways, it's comforting because everyone's on a level playing field. And then as it started to the world started to open up, by the way, I have COVID right now, everybody. So I'll just let you know, it's pretty lonely. But as things opened up, I thought it was much lonelier because I'd gotten used to the fact that nobody could see anybody, but then all of a sudden people could see each other, but not everybody was playing the same game. So some people were still like, we don't do this, and other people were out there having big parties. And I think, it is part of being human to feel lonely. So again, a little sadder to end on than all the other great advice, but definitely pay attention to the solutions to this. And I am going to let Gina be our final word here today. If it goes up. Oh, yep, here it goes. Well, since my post, my son has had some drama. Him and another fella decided they wanted to fight at school. My son has never been a fighter. This is rough. The assistant principal was laughing because he said neither one of the boys knew how to fight. There was video, but anyways, now my son is home for 10 days suspension. Of course, he has consequences for his actions, but deep down he is home. I'm finding that I would rather him be out and about learning life. Crazy. All right, who wants to respond to that, guys? Anybody have anything to add there?
All I'm going to say is, yeah, it sounds like be careful what you wish for.
I was going to say the same thing, Mindy.
Right.
poor Gina put it out in the world that she was missing her son, and now what? That's terrible.
But I think that, to me, that's fabulous. I mean, it's not fabulous, the fight, though. I don't understand the principle, the whatever, laughing, but I think it's great because, okay, you know what? It's a good thing for them to be out there, right? You can be both. You can be sad. It's great to have them in the home, but it is, I think, that's the universe telling you it's going to be okay. That's what you need.
I'm going to add to that, Gina, maybe you may have actually given us another topic to talk about for another week, which is when our kids do things that are out of character, it's really hard to understand where that's coming from. And we could armchair psychologist this all day, but maybe he was feeling a little uncomfortable with this sudden independence he has in the world too. And it comes out in ways we don't predict. It could be something totally different going on with him. But I'm just going to say there are times when our kids do things that just mystify us. It's hard for us to remember. They are just so under construction and in development. So let's think about how we might want to talk about that for either next week or sometime in the future.
Under construction is an awesome phrase. And also the be careful what you wish for. So one of my kids picked me up from the airport with a new license and drove way too fast on the way home. And when I said, please slow down, they said, I have my license now, in that kind of cocky way that kids get. And so I walked in the house and I said to my husband, I can't wait till this kid gets a ticket. Next day, got pulled over. Anyway, so maybe wish for what you want. I don't know. Okay, so Kamira, tell us what you're doing tomorrow. Oh, tell us tonight too. Might as well tell us tonight.
Okay, well, tonight we have Destination College. Jen and I are up for tonight. We're talking paying for college. It's the money conversation. It's week six. So you should register for Destination College if you're not already registered. And don't worry if you're thinking, oh, they're on week 6, so it's not worth it. It is worth it because you're going to get the replay. So go ahead and register and you'll get the replay from week 1 through 5, and you'll catch up on your own time. Tomorrow, we have Amy Reed. She's a dietitian, and we're going to be talking about teen nutrition, balancing the independence, because them driving is not the only sign of independence. They start feeding themselves. They start having late nights out, so they're missing dinner and things like that. And they like junk. They like junk, no matter how much good stuff we feed them at home, but we're feeding them less and less. We don't want to treat them like toddlers, but it sure was easier. So we're going to have that conversation tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you are missing driving your teens to and from their activities, because that's when you had conversations, here's a hint from our household. I just started getting up and making breakfast, not dinner, because not everybody's home at dinner at the same time. So I get up, even though I don't need to eat breakfast that early in the morning, and sit down and we have a conversation. Sometimes not. Just like in the car. Sometimes you talk, sometimes you don't. And I know it's working because this last year, I've been doing it for a few years. This last year, my husband started running out of the bedroom and having the conversation and scheduling his mornings around it. So someone was jealous.
You always have a way to tell this that it's like you've snuck it into your husband. Somehow there's a Okay, so Lexi says, those that have all kids gone, did you downsize or move and get smaller houses? My husband thinks that's what we should do, but I just can't. Good question, Lexi. That's a rough one. Okay, Eka.
We did not, because here's what we figured. Lexi, this is just us. We had a lot of discussion about this. We knew that our children were not going to live in the same city as us. And we knew from having parents who had small houses that it was really hard to come back and visit, because if we would have had to stay in hotels and everything. So we knew we wanted to either stay in the same house or move into a house that was around the same size, so that our kids always felt they had a place to come home to. And it's really worked. And even though we did move, we bought about the same size house, and they have their own rooms, quote unquote rooms, that they stay in when they come, and they come home. And I don't think they would have if it wasn't a place for it. So that's my
And just to add, Lexi, we did the same thing. We did move, but we had the same size house. Just because of the same thing as Eka said, we wanted lots of room for our kids and hopefully their future families. So, yep.
And I'm
Okay.
going to add, there's
Jen Crow.
one more thing. I know we're just helping Lexi's confirmation bias here, and I'm totally aware of that. We're here for you, Lexi. But I want to tell you about my friend's cautionary tale. They did downsize. They were ready to have the urban hip lifestyle. They didn't sell their house. They rented it out, but they moved to a condo that is very vertical, very tall and skinny, and it was like perfect empty nester condo. That was like, they moved in about a week before the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden all three of their previously launched kids returned home to them, some from college, some from a job that became remote, and they were literally on top of one another. And she was like, I don't know what happened, but this is not the life I had in mind. So not that I'm saying that that's exactly what will happen, but maybe there's something in your gut that's telling you it's just now is not quite the right time. Let's wait a little bit. So we're here to confirm your bias for you.
Yeah, tell your husband that all of your friends at your teen agree with you. Okay, everybody, we are so grateful to be here with you this week, and we'll see you a week from now. Have a great week. Thanks for being here with us.